drone should hit you in just a few seconds.
I see no joy, I see only sorrow, I see no chance of your bright new tomorrow. So vote down Brexit, vote down, please vote down Brexit. Well done, you ignorant motherfuckers. Now I'm using the word ignorant on purpose because I don't actually think you're stupid, I just think people didn't understand, people didn't know, people weren't given the right information, and I think that's been borne out by the facts, don't you? Whether we'll actually leave remains to be seen. Maybe sanity will still prevail, maybe we'll get a second referendum, or maybe Parliament will vote it down and show some fucking leadership for once, and exercise that sovereignty you all voted so hard for, but that's, like I said, that remains to be seen. At the moment, we have to deal with the fucking mess you've made. So why did people vote out? Well, according to polls, two main reasons. One, immigrants, and two, the NHS, which is admirable and all, but that's not how things are going to work out now, is it? There is not one single promise that Leave made to people that's going to be borne out. Now you, dear viewer, might be, cognizant of all this and know that politicians lie and everything, but that doesn't change the fact that people voted on that basis, alright? Immigration. Right, we just heard this morning, for definite from the EU, that if we want any access to their market, we're going to have to accept free movement. And thank fuck for that, quite frankly, because that gives us access to Europe and free travel and settlement, which is one of the most important and precious things that the EU ever gave to us. But, so, if you think voting Leave was going to stop immigration, you're a twat! Why would that happen? You must just have been uninformed, because that was never ever going to happen. And literally the morning after the vote, we had Farage and there's other toad-faced wankers all over the TV admitting that very fact. No, we bullshitted all of you. Ha! Too late now, motherfuckers. And why would you think these people would give money to the NHS? Farage wanted to sell it off! Alright, we have a Tory government, unfettered even by the weak-ass Liberal Democrats. Did you ever think any fucking money was going to go into the NHS? Why would you think that? For fuck's sake! Alright, and that money, it's gone now! It's completely gone! It is evaporated into thin fucking air! We don't save any money. Furthermore, alright, all that money that we supposedly sent to Europe, which was nowhere near 350 million a fucking week, alright? All that money, it's gone, okay? All that stuff that was coming back to us and was being forcibly reinvested into hard-done-by areas like fucking Cornwall and other places that voted overwhelmingly for Leave, that's gone, okay? It's poof! No more! And if you think the Tories are going to be investing in these areas, fat fucking chance! It never happened when they were more compassionate Conservatives. It's certainly not going to fucking happen now, and it's certainly not going to fucking happen under Gove or Boris. The hard right of the Conservative Party don't give a single fuck about poor people. They don't give a single fuck about any of you, alright? And you voted for what they wanted. Why? And sovereignty, do you even know what that means? It's this weasel word that seems to mean nothing to anybody. We never lost sovereignty. We went in knowingly into Europe and we participated in Europe in a democratic process, right? We retained sovereignty both locally and internationally as part of fucking Europe, right? And we agreed with most of the EU decisions. That less so more recently. I think we disagreed with 12% of the decisions that went through, but by and large, we agreed with all of it. We exercised our sovereignty, we never had it taken from us. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, what about fishing? You know, there was all that fuss about Bob Geldof giving Farage the finger, and God, I wish he'd given him a fist instead of a finger out now, after Farage's moronic performance in the EU Parliament. Well, there's a bridge that isn't quite burnt yet. Right, let's get some petrol on that, shall we? Mr. Toad-looking motherfucker. No, the fishing thing, that's not going to change. Plus, all those Cornish fishermen feeling so hard done by, well, they're not getting any EU money now, so well fucking done. And which side predicted all this was going to happen? Project Fear or Project disturbingly accurate, as it should now be called, shouldn't it? But reading financial reports from a respected source this morning, can't remember off the top of my head, but you can look it up, they reckon over the next few years we're going to lose 6% of the economy. That's over a 20th of our economy. And the pound might settle at around $1.24 in the exchange rate, they reckon. Okay? Oh, the markets have bounced back. Oh goody. Oh goody goody goody. Some rich bankers who are already wealthy have got their money back and probably made a killing gambling on the markets. Well, that's such a relief. I feel so much fucking better for that. Thank goodness. On the other hand, who said everything was going to be okay? Mr. Nobody wants to listen to experts anymore, Gove, who now, not content with stabbing the country in the back, has now turned on his mate Boris. No, I want to be leader. Fuck you, you orangutan looking shit. Experts are people with expertise, who know what they're talking about. This kind of rampant anti-intellectualism you expect from the Americans. You don't expect it here. Okay? But this is the state we're in. So at this moment in time, when we need political leadership more than we probably ever have in peacetime, in my lifetime, where is everybody? Where is government? Where is Parliament? Where is anyone to show any kind of leadership at this point in time? The Conservative Party are fighting over David Cameron's corpse as though it had been flung into the hyena pit, and the Labour Party have turned on each other, turned on Corbyn in particular. Okay, fair enough. He was pretty lukewarm on Remain. Some of that's the media's fault, but he didn't do a particularly good job in opposition. But at least he's actually left wing. At least he's offering an alternative. But he's not offering any leadership at this moment in time. Nor is anybody else. The closest thing that this country, the United Kingdom as a whole, has to a leader at the moment is the Scottish National Party, who want to leave us. And how fucking ironic is that? They're the only ones talking any fucking sense. And meanwhile, down at street level, we appear to have a massive tidal wave of racism and anti-immigration fervour. Not because I think, half of you are actually racist, but because the people who are racist now think everybody agrees with them. Now, at the moment, this is mostly anecdotal, and there's obvious self-selection problems and confirmation bias problems, but it does start to seem to be being borne out by statistics. And I've followed up on enough stories that, personally, I'm fairly convinced that at least something horrible and nasty has shifted in the national character. And I don't like it. I'm not going to be any fucking part of it. If I see it in front of me, I'm going to try and have the courage to say something, as horribly un-British as it is to interfere in these kind of things. We prefer to kind of look down and ignore it. Well, I'm going to do my damnedest not to if I run into any of it. Whatever. Anyway, there's definitely a case for a second referendum now. This is not like an election, alright? We can't just put up with these pricks for 4 to 5 years and then vote them out. We don't get a chance to correct this. And the lies were so brazen and obvious, and they unravelled so quickly. I think there's a definite case for a second referendum. I don't think people voted knowing that the NHS would not get any money. I don't think people voted knowing that immigration probably wouldn't change. Maybe we'll have a slightly higher proportion of brown people. Is that what you were voting for, racists? I doubt it. Okay, our economy is dependent on immigration. Our NHS is dependent on immigration. That can't change. If we want access to European markets, then Europeans are going to have to be able to continue to move and settle here, and we're going to have to continue to move and settle in Europe. So, with the damage now obvious, the lies now obvious, and the chaos going on in our political system, there is a definite, and the threat of a breakup of the United Kingdom, there is a definite case for a second referendum. We may have cut our legs out from under us, but we've got a chance to stop the amputations before we lose our arms. Things will never be the same, and there's going to be chaos and civil disorder either way at this point, but we can choose the least worst option. That's open to us. We can go, on the other hand, maybe not. Okay, and that same case is also a case for Parliament to exercise its sovereignty and say, no, we're not doing this, alright? It's gone against public opinion many times in the past over things like wars, bad, and executing people, good. So here's a chance for Parliament to show some leadership. A fat fucking chance. You know, in the cold light of day, now that we know what the damage is going to be, now that we know those promises were hollow, I think we all deserve a chance to fix this idiocy before it goes any further. You know, poll suggests 1 million or more people have changed their minds. A lot of the young people who didn't vote because they were complacent are now angry and upset. So I reckon we deserve a second chance, and that's why I'll be joining a march. You know, if one vote's democracy, 2 votes is double democracy. Let's make it happen. And you, don't think I don't see you hiding behind your copy of The Guardian with the biggest schadenfreude boner since Thatcher got turned on by her own party. I see you. This is your fault too, and you're not escaping. You think everyone's racist, do you? All these poor people are just stupid, right? No, that's your classism showing, okay? When you are forced to go to food banks in order to eat, okay, then the esoteric seeming concerns of the liberal middle class, they're not your concerns. You know, you don't care about trans issues when you're struggling for something to eat, yeah? You don't care about gay marriage when, you know, you're looking for a job and there's none around. And we refused, I mean, I say we, I mean you, but we're both on the left. We refused to have the conversations about immigration, about race, about jobs. You know, we failed our supposed duty to the working class and the underclass to help them, to engage in social investment and so on. Ironically, the EU is the only thing that's been helping them. But, you know, they didn't know that. We didn't make the case to them. We refused to have the conversation on immigration. So we ceded that ground to the right and the far right. And they told them it was all about, yeah, race. You know, coming over here and turking their gerbs. That's our fault. That's on us. You know, and all we did was blame them for their own problems. And we wouldn't have that conversation. You know, there are issues around immigration. There are issues around Islamism. But we wouldn't have that. Because it's racist. You know, even the conversation is racist. But it's not. If we'd had the conversation, then we could have made the case to them that the real problem is as it actually is, Tory austerity. You know, we could have argued that to them. We could have said, you know, you and this Polish immigrant, yeah, you guys have the same enemy. It's not his fault there's no services and that you're forced to compete with him for them. It's them. They're the ones who've taken it away. They're the ones who refuse to invest in you. They're the ones who would rather let a banker buy an extra yacht, you know, than provide jobs in your area or retraining, or or social housing. Oh, there's a fucking hangover from the Thatcher era that there's no housing. Why is there no housing? Because of Thatcher's policies, allowing people to buy them. Okay, fair enough. You know, that gets people onto the property ladder, but it has meant, even all these years later, a crippling shortage of council housing. And councils don't have much incentive to invest in it and to build more because it'll just go again. So, you know, that's why, you know, you're stuck in the situation that you're in. Yeah, and if you're complaining that all your shops are Polish, well, why not set them up? Why can't we have a fund to help people start their own businesses? You know, if immigrants with, you know, 2 pennies to rub together can come over here and start a Polish deli in the street, why can't British people do it? Why aren't we encouraging them to do it? You know, these are the kind of conversations that we could have that don't blame the immigrants. But no, we wouldn't even have that conversation. Yeah, we wouldn't even entertain the idea for a moment that their upset and their anger, however misdirected, might be genuine, and maybe we should talk about it and fix it and sort it. Yeah, and immediately after the vote, fucking Laurie Penny again. God, I really used to like Laurie Penny. I thought she had good, insightful things to say. But over the last few years, she's just gone completely loco. And immediately following the Brexit vote, she's straight out there berating the working class, rather than, you know, saying, oh, maybe we made a mistake, maybe we should fix this. No, straight out, just as she was with Cologne, blaming the victims. The hypocrisy in the political wing in which I would situate myself, the liberal left, it's just staggering. Okay, the classism, the arrogance, the refusal to have difficult conversations, to even entertain people's problems. It's just nonsense, right? This is as much your fault as anybody else's. It's as much your fault as it is Nigel Farage or the BNP, okay? Because you seeded the conversation. We need to reset. We need to get back to our roots, but we need to do it with a modern mindset. You know, we need to look at things like basic income. We need to look at things like political reform, social investment. We need to make the case for them. But we're not going to do that. We need to make these people understand. We need to have the conversations about immigration and Islamism and so on, reassure people and offer them options other than blaming foreigners. But we're not going to do that, are we? It's just... even with all this, I had a glimmer of hope. There were a couple of articles in The Guardian of people going, oh, we fucked up, which gave me a glimmer of hope, but that seems to have disappeared in the intervening time. The whole thing needs to be torn down, and we need to start over with fresh new ideas, but focused on the real, genuine, actual societal problems, which are the same as they've always been, really. You know, if this whole debacle has done anything, it has illustrated where the fractures in British society are. Class, wealth, those old lovely classics, age, education. We need to educate people. We need to not just redistribute wealth, we need to redistribute knowledge. I guess that's the best thing to end on. My appeal to you is, let's rebuild the left. Let's sort it out, let's fix it, let's address people's actual problems, let's stop shying away from conversations because they make us uncomfortable, and let's make the case for a kinder, more inclusive education, wealth, everything. This is why the poor turned on the EU. We didn't share the benefits. Okay, the people in the middle class didn't make the case, didn't show them that they gained from it, but they did. But not enough, and we need to make that happen. We need a new, modern, technological, informed, educated left that wants to spread those gifts to everybody. And we need that movement to be an international movement. And we need to move forward as a species out of this petty nationalism, this throwback that we seem to have got ourselves mired in. Now I'm a little bit calmer, I'm going to go and do something else. Peace the fuck out. I sometimes wonder if I'll ever get the chance to have my human rights or live and work in France. I doubt it. Vote down Brexit.